The hell? Yikes. Beats, you wouldn't tell me. I didn't put in the intro. Okay.
It's now. Nostalgia forever. This is Star 106.5 FM.
The time is
4 o'clock.
when the nights stop dreaming my dream will never shows on the airwaves, not free mind.
What's all that coming on my screen?
You are free mind.
Beats. Beats. What's all that on my screen? I got my notes, Doc. Boy, Doc, it's amazing how we talking serious business and look at these people already. Lord, this could be fun. My Lord. Oh, glory be to God. Y'all has killed me, huh? Oh, man. Good afternoon, y'all. Yes. Fun learning. Fun learning. Nothing funny here, but fun learning. You learn about serious things in a fun way. How about that?
I agree.
Oh, this could be
from
fun.
Rome and you left it.
Huh?
Brought you a gift from Rome and you left it.
Boss, hold on. No, I didn't. You gave me. Y'all look at my gift.
Yeah, that's not it. That's a treat, not a gift.
Oh, I didn't know, sir. Pardon, but this is what I got y'all. Real chocolate. Not on the food store, y'all. This is the real deal from Europe. Here we go. I didn't know. You didn't tell me. You gave me this, and I was so appreciative because you thought of me.
See?
Yeah.
Look.
Oh, hold on. He didn't give me the gift race. I did not know. He just remembered.
Because we got too caught up talking.
Here we go. Star 106, it's a pleasant Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Wellness Wednesday right here on your hit station. Of course, this is Free Your Mind, powered by none other than Pinder Tile. Thank you to the Cleveland Clinic. One time for Kalik as we continue to share the vibe. Thank you to Paradise Games. Muffler World, thank you so much. And of course, I got to say thank you to everybody that's locked and loaded. Star 106 and Natural Empress on Facebook, 106.5 on the FM band. And of course, I got to say thank you to everybody on, of course, channel 976 on cable. All right. Beats, you are summoned Good afternoon once again. I've got a special guest in studio, and it's so funny that every time he comes around, everybody gets excited. We're talking facts, we're talking, real information, trying to change lives, we're trying to save lives. And with that said, the incomparable Dr. Fox joins us on this Wellness Wednesday. Good afternoon to you, Doc. The Doc is in the house. Hello.
Good afternoon to you, Empress, and thank you for having me back again. And good afternoon, Bahamas.
Well, good afternoon, Dr. Fox. It is now the 6th day of November. I am told that this month, on the heels of October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that this particular November, and November is deemed Diabetes Awareness Month. So we're talking sweets. We're talking the sweet month. And also, I understand that it is also HIV. Is it HIV awareness, or what do we call it?
Well, I'm doing the HIV awareness campaign, but World AIDS Day is December the 1st.
Okay, so we got to lead up to it, get the information out there. I am armed with information today in conjunction with all of the nuggets that you are going to give us. But I want to start with the sweets, because you know what? In my business, and when I say my business, not radio, in terms of the juice bar, it's so funny that people will walk in, right? Just look at this for a second. And they're like, what do y'all offer diabetics? And I'm like, okay, so here's what you want to stay away from: certain fruits in particular, the sweeter ones, the mangoes, the bananas, the pineapples to a certain extent, and go more for the berries kind of thing. I also encourage them not to partake in any additives, so no agave. Just deal with the natural sweetness if you must have. And if I say that to 10 diabetics, 9 of them will oblige. Right? And no, sorry, one of the 10 will definitely agree with me and say, okay, give me that. Everybody else, man, I need something sweet. But you're the diabetic. How is it that you are not trying to put your best foot forward in refraining from the sweet so that you can keep your A1C at some kind of level? Why is that, Doc?
And one of the reasons why we have one of the highest incidents of diabetes in the world in the Bahamas. Bahamians are just stubborn. But I think it's because Bahamians really don't know what diabetes, or as we call it locally, sugar actually is. This is the scenario that I use to describe diabetes to the average person. Diabetes is a chronic disease that occurs either when the pancreas, which is an organ in the body, does not produce enough insulin. Insulin is a chemical in the body that helps you to break down sugar or glucose, or when the body cannot effectively use the insulin it produces.
Okay.
Insulin is the hormone that regulates glucose. So the analogy I use is, imagine you're in a room with the door closed. Okay. Each cell needs sugar to operate. That's the fuel, that's the gas, that's the diesel. Okay. So in order for the sugar now, which is floating around in the blood, to get inside this closed door, it needs insulin. Insulin is the only chemical that has the key to open the door to let the sugar in so it can be used as fuel. But if you're not making insulin, then the sugar accumulates in the blood, causing havoc and catastrophic devastation to the blood vessels, to the organs, to the microvasculature in the body. Bahamians have one of the highest prevalence of diabetes in the world, 25.6 thousand. In 2021, 28.9% of all 28.9% of people with diabetes in the Bahamas were undiagnosed. So we have a lot of people walking around here. With diabetes and don't know they have it.
Why? Wait, is it that they got to wait for some symptom to kick in for them to say something is wrong? Let me go to the doctor to be diagnosed.
Well, for the Bahamian men, they come in when they can't get an erection.
Damn.
But I'll get to all of that.
Damn. Pun intended.
Yeah, like I said, 28.9% of people with diabetes in the Bahamas are undiagnosed.
Really?
Also, obesity is one of the primary contributing factors to type 2 diabetes. And the obesity prevalence in the Bahamas, as you know, is higher than any place in the region other than America.
My God.
And it's over 30.7%, where the average is 22.8%. And it is the second leading cause of death in the Bahamas. Now, that's a lot to take in.
Number 4 on the obesity list worldwide. And now you're telling me on the sweet side of things, we rank number what?
Yeah, we rank in this region, we rank number 1. Our average is 30.7%, and the general average is 22.8% in the Western world.
My Lord.
So,
beaches. We should rank number 1 in beaches and beaches only.
I agree, but we have to work on we'll talk about that. We have to work on decreasing a lot of diseases here that can be decreased. So what happens over time? Having consistently high blood sugar can cause health problems such as heart disease, nerve damage, eye and organ issues. What are the types of diabetes? Well, the most common one here is type 2. Type 2 is when your body doesn't make enough insulin or your body's cell can't respond normally to the insulin. We call that insulin resistant. And you normally see that in older, heavy people because the insulin cannot penetrate into the cells because there's just too much fat and too much tissue. And so you become resistant. And so you need to be on medication. This is the most common type of diabetes, and it mainly affects adults. But we are now seeing type 2 diabetes in children because I remember one lady came in, her son was 12. He was 300 plus pounds.
Why?
And when I checked his blood sugar, it was high. So I said, he has type 2 diabetes. So she said, oh, no, that's from the pizza I gave him to eat with the 2-liter of Coke last night because they had a special. So you give in a child a large pizza and a 2-liter of Coke because it's on special, so you could go to the club and have a good time and not properly feeding these children. So hence, we have a problem. We have a major problem. There's also pre-diabetes, which is stage for type 2 diabetes, when your blood glucose levels usually run higher than normal, but not high enough to be officially diagnosed as type 2 diabetes. And then, of course, there's type 1 diabetes, which is an autoimmune disease, which people are usually born with. And the immune system attacks and destroys the insulin-producing cells in the pancreas. This is more difficult to treat. They usually require to be on insulin injections, whereas type 2, they normally can survive with medication, exercise, and diet regulation. Then there's also gestational diabetes or diabetes in pregnancy. And diabetes insipidus. So there are a number of diabetes, but the one we're going to concentrate on today is type 1 and type 2.
Okay, so with that said, I want to take a quick break. I want to find out, you mentioned one of the symptoms, the telltale sign, the short telltale signs when a man who is undiagnosed gets a symptom that leads him to the doctor to be diagnosed with diabetes. But I want to talk about what it is a woman will experience, as well as we can divert and divulge more into the symptoms that men also get when it comes to the symptoms that they get when they realize that they are truly diabetic. We're going to take a quick break right here. Dr. Fox is in the house. It is a Wellness Wednesday right here on the Star. Stay tuned.
Life with the new KFC Bacon Rack Sandwich.
Yeah.
They can't seem to understand. Still, they're calling me.
Hello. Do, 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 do. KFC and
Hello,
Hitler.
hello, hello, hello. Uh,
Commonwealth. Right. Okay, here we go.
Fall from
Hello.
Enterprises.
Blending the newbies with the sweet memories.
Too little sugar? Okay, hold on. Star 106, it's welcome back. The doctor's in the house on a Wellness Wednesday. The one and only Dr. Fox joins me today as this month is deemed Diabetes Awareness Month. And of course, we talk diabetes, and of course, the fact that we here in the Bahamas have way too many cases and ways that we can alleviate those numbers. AJ has a question right off the bat. He says, is there such a thing as too little sugar, doc?
it comes to diabetes, if that's what he meant.
Or is there something as, your sugar too low?
Yeah, that's the opposite of diabetes. That's hypoglycemia. Whereas diabetes is called hyperglycemia, an excessive amount of sugar. You'll know when your sugar is too low, you start to sweat, you feel like you're gonna fall out, you just feel bad. And when you pop something sweet in your mouth, then all that feeling go away.
But how does your sugar become too low?
There's something as too little sugar or low sugar.
When does one experience that though?
They can experience that if they don't take in enough calories, if they take too much of their medication. Sometimes people take their medication or their insulin and they forget they took a dose earlier, so they may take another dose, and that will bring the sugar down
Okay.
too low.
All right. Let's go back to the type 2 and the type 1, the A1C. What is the A1C? We see it in commercials.
A1C is a blood test that you can take to determine if you do have diabetes. This is at the cellular level. And so this will tell you how you've been controlling your sugar at the cellular level over a period of time. So what are the signs and symptoms of both of these?
Yes.
Increased thirst. People tell me they could drink a 5-gallon bottle of water and still be thirsty. And then as fast as they drink it, they pee it out. So frequent urination. This is your body trying to dilute the sugar or get the sugar out of the body. Blurred vision. Why? Because sugar deposits in the lens of the eyes and they can form cataracts. So you can't see. It's like cloudy sugar. If you put sugar in water, you see it's cloudy, so you can't see through it. We advise people not to get their eyes tested when their sugar is elevated because they will make the prescription to the eyes at that time. And once the sugar comes down, then the glasses will be useless. Tiredness, fatigue. Of course, the sugar is not going where it's supposed to go. So it's using alternate forms of energy for you to just exist. Slow healing cuts and sores, unexplained weight loss. For men, eventually a decreased ability to get an erection, rash on the foreskin of the penis, resulting in them having to be circumcised. And for women, severe itching of the vagina due to constant and chronic yeast infections, bad breath, and tooth decay is also common in uncontrolled diabetes.
Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes when people's sugar is very high, they go into a condition called ketosis. So you can smell it on their breath. It smells like rotting fruits. And you can tell that somebody's sugar is high, that they have ketones being produced. And once you have an elevated blood sugar with an excessive amount of ketones in the urine, that can be dangerous and cause you to fall into a coma if not treated.
But when it's high, do people like feel it? Because you hear about people who've gone into a diabetic coma, right? Did they not feel it coming?
They do, but they just ignore the signs and symptoms. Like we have people come in, we test their sugar, it's 400, and I'm like, geez, your sugar is 400. Oh, that's normal for me. That's not normal. And Bamins don't read, and I don't know. To explain the disease to them, you have to break it down like you're talking to a preschooler. so they can understand. And even when you do that and you explain to them what's going on and the fact that they need to be on medication for the rest of their lives, they don't seem to understand that and they don't grasp that. Um, so they don't do what they're supposed to do. They eat what they want. They don't exercise and they gain weight. Unfortunately, some of the medications that you take for diabetes may cause you to gain weight as well.
Mhm.
But exercise and a good diet should reduce that tremendously. And then, of course, there's Ozempic, which is the rage for weight loss. Um, but what are the risk factors for diabetes? Like I told you before, obesity, family history, certain medications, if you have trauma to the pancreas, anything that affects the pancreas and insulin production, certain medications can cause that. Um, and what are the long-term complications of diabetes?
Let's
Of
take this one.
course,
Let's
pardon
take
me?
this. Has there ever been a thing where a person is fully recovered from being diabetic? Most people believe that once they get diabetes, they can always just get back out of it. Is that even
Oh,
possible?
no, no, it's however, some people who have gastric bypass, once they do the gastric bypass, they discover that they don't have diabetes anymore and they don't, their blood pressure is regulated. But I think that has to do with the amount of weight that they lose in the process of having the gastric bypass. But like I said earlier, diabetes is a disease of the microvasculature or the small blood vessels. So it's going to affect the coronary arteries in the heart. And so you're at increased risk for heart disease, stroke, and death, a heart attack. And it causes accelerated arteriosclerosis and hardening of the arteries. So the
Mm.
arteries can contract and expand because of all the hardening. So now you're at risk for high blood pressure and all the complications associated with high blood pressure. Another thing that diabetes does is nerve damage, neuropathy. They get tingling in the feet and the fingers. The nerve damages certain things, resulting in pain, numbness, and tingling. And the neuropathy can lead to kidney failure, which needs dialysis. Um, Diabetic foot conditions because the small blood vessels don't work like they used to. So you don't get good circulation in the feet. So if you get a cut on the foot, it gets infected. Next thing you know, you have gangrene and you have to have an amputation.
Right. So hold on,
Sexual dysfunction.
because we've all known someone who has gotten to that level where they become an amputee. Again, do you see the signs prior to when those persons just for whatever reason choose to turn a blind eye? In most cases, could it be avoided?
Yeah, and it has to do a lot too with hygiene and proper self-care. I have people who come in here with toenails. Sometimes I have to get a chainsaw to cut it.
No, I'm being
And
serious though. I serious.
I'm being serious too. Toenails are so hard and so long.
When you say
And
chainsaw,
then,
what kind of chainsaw?
pardon me?
You when you say chainsaw, you mean a real one, or you talking about some industrial clip or something?
That's how hard and long the toenails are, and they're very difficult to cut. And these get infected and cause problems. Or people hit their toe and they get a little cut, or they have fungus between their toe and they go and they use a razor to shave it, and they get an infection, and then the foot gets infected. And because there's no good blood flow, the antibiotics can't penetrate very well, so they end up with gangrene, and hence you have to have the amputation. So it all has to do with personal hygiene, personal care, and making sure your foot is taken care of. And if you get a cut or anything, you
Tamarosa.
should go to the doctor and get it sorted out. But they try to treat it themselves, and by the time there's a lot of them come, it's just too late, and you can't do anything but send them to the surgeon to have it amputated.
So you're
So
telling me the persons who are amputees had an opportunity to save having both limbs, and you mean just the idea of being a foot amputated, a toe, an ankle, whatever it is, could have been avoided. That must be traumatic for your life to change so drastically
And
based on your
90% and 90% of the cases, yeah, they could have avoided that by, just proper self-care, checking their feet on a regular, going to the doctor to have their feet checked, getting, their nails cut properly and keeping themselves clean. But a lot of people, like I said, they get a little cut and they just leave it. And next thing you know, it's gangrenous and the foot has to come off. It's unfortunate,
crazy.
but that's the way it is. And the thing with most diabetics I find in the Bahamas is once they have a limb amputated, I don't know, they just give up and they sit in a wheelchair. Whereas you find in other countries like the States, they go and they get fitted for prosthesis, they go up there and they live their life. But we don't do that here.
Wait, I gotta
And
I gotta pick up my good friend and brother Anthony Dean, aka Extra Large, who had his amputated and has his prosthesis. So shouts out to him. He's one Bayman who is moving around. He getting up and getting it. I like that.
I
I
like
like
that
that.
too.
Yeah.
I see a question here. What is the effect of coffee on diabetes and the chances of being diagnosed with diabetes? Well, I could
Yes.
say the effect of coffee on diabetes here in the Bahamas is profound because Bahamians don't drink coffee, they drink liquid sugar. Okay? There's very little coffee in their coffee, and there's more sugar and cream in it than anything else. So that right there is dangerous. The fat and the cream, the sugar and the coffee, it's just ridiculous. And Bahamians don't like to drink black coffee. I don't know
I was
why.
just about to say
Anyway,
black coffee would be the better way to go.
yeah, because there's nothing in it, just the coffee. Um, Sexual dysfunction. A lot of men come in because they can't get an erection and they don't make the connection that it's their diabetes over a period of time that damage the nerve and the blood vessel that goes to the penis. Um, Creating this situation where there's no nerve innervation to get the blood vessels filled so the penis can get erect. And then they want you to raise your hand like Moses and part the Red Sea to make this better. But it doesn't work like that. And in women, you get vaginal dryness and you also get chronic yeast infection. And the men too who aren't circumcised, more so on the skin, and then they get phimosis where the skin of the penis seals together and they can barely pee and it's very uncomfortable and they can't have sex, so they come in to get circumcised.
Question.
Go on.
Based on the erectile dysfunction of a diabetic man, is there any hope for them to raise again?
If they control the sugar and you can give them medication to assist in getting an erection. Yeah, some of them, some if they're not too far gone.
Okay, so there is a chance that a diabetic man could never raise again. Reason I'm asking, I know of someone who is newly married and he is diabetic and he cannot please his wife. And I'm saying there's got to be something that can be done. But am I wrong to say that based on the fact that there are some men who will never see a real erection
Well,
again?
there are extreme cases where you can get implants in to get an erection. That's kind of extreme.
That penile, that's
But
expensive. Average man can't pay for that.
I agree. I agree. But if they get their sugar down and you can control the diabetes properly and they with enhancers, they can a lot of the times get an erection. Maybe not every time, but at least sometimes.
Okay, so there is hope.
There is hope. There is hope. And then you have other small problems like gastroparesis, where the food sits in the stomach, hearing loss due to poor circulation, oral health issues, like I told you, the gum periodontal disease, people losing the teeth, getting cavities all the time. And all of this can affect your mental health, eh? So
Okay.
people with diabetes are 2 to 3 times more likely to have depression than people that don't. Imagine if you're a young man like that gentleman you said, um, and he can't get an erection, he has a young wife. That's very depressing. Um, Yeah.
All
So how
right.
do we
So
diagnose diabetes? We can do a finger test and do a random blood glucose, or we can do a fasting blood glucose where you fast from the night before and you do a blood test the first thing in the morning. This is a better indication of your ability to metabolize sugar. And if it's high, we know you have a problem metabolizing sugar. Or we could do the HbA1c
mhm.
or glycerol hemoglobin test, which provides the average blood glucose level over the past 2 to 3 months. So this tells you how you've been controlling your sugar at the cellular level, and this gives the best indication of what treatment you're going to go on, whether oral or insulin injection, and you can monitor the progress of the disease or the regression of the disease according to the HbA1c. But diabetes is a nasty disease. And if you don't stay on top of it and control it, it will destroy you, literally. And a lot of people end up with kidney failure. A lot of people end up with heart attacks and strokes. A lot of people end up with loss of limb, sexual impotency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And all they have to do is exercise, lose weight, and eat right. Push away. I think we have a proportion distortion here where we feel because the food is there, we have to eat it all. And then don't like to drink water. They would rather suck down a soda or juice instead of drinking water. And the soda has no
Or sugar.
calorie nutrients, just sugar and you know
All kind
carbon
of.
and caffeine. And they will drink that and not drink water, making it even worse.
Oh, we got a question
Um,
real quick because we got to move into the next subject matter as well before timeout, right? What mistake do friends and loved ones of persons with diabetes commonly make while trying to help or support their diabetic friend or lover? Giving them foods that have sugar and talk about you only live once. That's my answer.
I agree. I agree. If you have a lover or a partner that has diabetes, then you should be understanding. You should not sit down and eat a big slice of cake in front of them. Um, if you see them eating a lot of high calorie, high sugar stuff, you should, encourage them not to. You should encourage them to exercise and drink water and have regular checkups. Check your blood sugar on a regular to make sure it's not climbing, and make sure you practice good oral health and good physical hygiene. And these are the things you can assist your partner with in making sure that the diabetes doesn't go um, into a catastrophic state. Catastrophic state.
Mm-hmm. All right, Doc. We are going to switch gears when we come back. We're going to take a quick break right here. Free your mind on a Wellness Wednesday right here on the Star. Stay tuned.
You see Paradise Games out a new casino? What do you mean a new casino? You mean like new games? Yeah, space. Brand new games. You ain't never see these yet. Check this. It's right under casino. Oh, casino trade. But it's hot. It's showing you Paradise come up with all kind of games. Come on, they need to go slap something on man. Come on. I might as well talk of one time. Roll.
Paradise Games. Every spending is a chance to win.
Wanda.
Please game responsibly.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients, from groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery.
What up, Mariah? You like that? A proportion distortion. Huh? That's it.
When we go to a buffet, we're not gonna get the small plate. We're gonna get the platter.
Hold on. Why can't I hear you? I can't hear you.
We're being
Talk.
Hey,
Okay, got you. Yeah. Interesting. Very flicking interesting. Again, don't think about it. We're creatures of habit. So if you was eating ice cream and drinking Kool-Aid all your life, It's hard to just say, you know what, I
But
need to.
see, it starts with the person who does the grocery shopping, eh? If it's not in the house, you're not gonna eat it.
That's a lie. They can go out for it. They body crave it. I feel, see that? I feel for something sweet. Hold on. And they're not, hold on. Star 106, it's welcome back. Free your mind on a Wellness Wednesday. It's Diabetes Awareness Month, the whole month of November. Today we talk diabetes with Dr. Fox. Good to be in his company as always. Always enlightening, very informative. And today is no different. So, just a quick recap before we move into the next subject matter. Because, boy, all we have is ailments. And, we got to do better as a nation. We want to be known for beautiful sea and sand and all that good stuff, hospitality, not necessarily all of these ailments. So for the persons that are just joining us, of course, we talk diabetes real quick. Doc, we are creatures of habit, as I was saying off air, and we know what we know. And it's even though I may feel for something sweet, there is a natural way and a better way to acquire that taste that you want with things that are healthier. Like, I can give you some examples. There's monk fruit in particular you can use as a sweetener. Agave to a certain degree because it's low glycemic and it won't spike your sugar level like sugar will. But persons are not willing to make those changes, and that's the problem.
Not just that. Exercise decreases the requirement for so much insulin, so you don't need as much insulin if you exercise and stay fit.
Right.
So hence
Right.
you'll be able to metabolize the sugar better. And if you lose weight, then the insulin resistance won't be a problem.
Now, in terms of erectile dysfunction, is it that the older you get, the less chances as a diabetic, your chances to salute?
But of course, because now what happens is you have the progression of the disease, which literally destroys the nerves in the blood vessels. So you can't fill those chambers with blood to make the penis hard and solid. And the nerves don't work to open up the blood vessels and close them. So you're not going to get filling up these chambers to get an erection. That's all an erection is. You fill up these two chambers on the side of the penis and they get hard. And but you need a team work of stuff to do that. And diabetes stops the team from working.
So we can't help the team members check them hard, give them some water.
Once nerves are damaged, the chances of them repairing is very small. You may get some repair, but you're not going to get total repair. Same with the blood vessels. If you have damage to the blood vessels, remember now, when the blood vessel is a lumen, so if the sugar is damaging it, you're going to have platelets and cholesterol and all this junk sticking to the damage, creating a smaller and smaller and smaller lumen or tube, decreasing the blood flow even more. So yeah.
So hence your chances are slim.
Diabetes is a wood killer.
Older man.
Diabetes is a wood killer.
My week. All right, let's move on to the next one real quick. So, of course, as we now are in the month of November, you are an advocate for HIV and AIDS awareness. All right, so we re-welcome you to the show as the HIV specialist. What you got for the people today where that's concerned?
Just to let people know, I have a master's degree from a university in London, specifically in HIV and STDs.
Hello.
So let's talk about HIV. First of all, what is HIV? HIV is a virus that attacks the immune system. Okay, so is there a difference between HIV and AIDS?
Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, these people, I tell you. Go ahead. Okay, Doc got the papers. Yeah, he ain't just talking this thing, right? From London, not from around the corner. Okay?
With honors. Nishan, close to the place. So is there a difference between HIV and AIDS? Of course there is. HIV just means that you've been exposed to the virus you've tested positive. AIDS means that you have ravaged immune system
Compromise.
and you can't, yeah, compromised immune system, and you can't fight off certain infections. These are called opportunistic infections because the HIV virus attacks and kills a certain type of white blood cell in the body, which weakens the immune systems and makes it hard to fight off illnesses and infections. Like I said, take for example, an opportunistic infection would be chickenpox. Now, most of us have been exposed to chickenpox, but because our immune system works, it goes in a little cave and it hides until the opportunity comes out. So if the opportunity arises, like diabetes or HIV, and diabetes, the immune system is compromised as well. So now the chickenpox virus says, you know what? All the security guards went home, so it's time to have a party. So they come back out, they manifest themselves as shingles, which is very painful. And if it gets in the eye or in the face, it can cause blindness. It can be devastating. So that's an example of opportunistic infection. So when you have full-blown AIDS, you can't fight off these infections. There are a number of opportunistic infections that you can get. So how do you get HIV? HIV is acquired through anal or vaginal sex, sharing needle or syringes, or other drug injection equipment. And yes, you can get HIV through oral sex. A lot of people ask me that if you can get HIV. If you had,
Most people still believe that HIV is a homosexual um, disease. A lot of people
well,
don't know that
what do
heterosexual.
you homophobic country?
Okay, hit it. Hit it.
Okay. And that's why we are so far behind in anything HIV.
Let me read this
Um,
one. Many people think that HIV is a gay disease. I don't know if the lifestyle increases it. That ain't depths of this topic today. But one major rule I've been taught is HIV must be present to catch it.
Indeed, indeed. And more heterosexuals catch HIV than homosexuals.
My Lord. Okay.
Okay? Um, and that's why we can't make the progress we want to make in this country with HIV because of the homophobia, and everybody still thinks it's a gay man's disease and it's stigmatized. And people still, once they find out, they get kicked out of the house or they lose their job. And I just think it's sad and pathetic in 2024. But it's because Bahamians don't read, they watch TV, they learn nothing, and they just don't get the gist of things that they're supposed to get. They get negative, everything, but nothing positive, and I think it's sad. Anyways, with that being said, um, how do you acquire HIV? Like I said, through blood, semen, vaginal fluid, anal mucus, and breast milk. So if you're HIV positive and you have a baby, then you shouldn't breastfeed. Um, but the thing with HIV, we've come a long way. We have drugs that suppress the viral replication and make you undetectable. Once you're undetectable, you can have sex with someone and not transmit the virus. You can even make babies and have a kid that won't have HIV. However, once you're on the medication, you have to be on the medication for life to keep the HIV suppressed, the HIV virus suppressed, so you don't spread it. And so you don't have a ravaged immune system and get opportunistic infections that can cost you death. In this country, medication is supposedly free for any HIV patient that's positive through the government and through the HIV program. But there's some, pardon me?
Why you say supposedly free?
A lot of the times they don't have the meds. You know how it goes.
I understand. Oh my God. Okay. Continue.
Like I said, currently there are no cures. There's not a cure for HIV, just a treatment. But they're working on a cure through CRISPR gene therapy that seems to be very promising, and a vaccine that seems to be very promising. However, when the final trials will be done, nobody knows. But they talk about it a lot. Every time I go to the big West Coast conference at the University of California at San Francisco, they talk about a cure. They talk about a cure, but I have not seen a cure yet.
Okay. Okay.
So,
So we gotta talk prevention then.
yeah, I was just about to say that. So let's talk about prevention. In this day of easy access to Pornhub, most Bahamians believe everything they see on Pornhub is real. They don't realize that's a movie they're watching. These are actors who are fulfilling a role, and they're tested constantly before the act, during the act, and after the act. So they can afford not to wear a condom or have protection. But in the
Oh,
real world, that's not the case. And so now I've been seeing, and the government has confirmed this, that there is a dramatic increase in the number of cases of HIV. Not just HIV, but I'm also seeing an increase in the number of cases of syphilis and other sexually transmitted disease because Bahamians choose not to have protective sex. And so the numbers are going up. Um, and what do we do? What do we do? We need more programs to let people be aware that HIV results are climbing and to use protection or just to abstain. Um, and
hey.
what to do when you test positive. I am one who believe in hit early and hit hard. Once you test positive, you start them on the meds so you don't get replication of the virus and the virus settling in areas where it shouldn't be, making it even more difficult to treat. Um, so hence we're having a HIV Know Your Status month this month. You can come in and get your HIV tested at the Medicine Clinic on Collins Avenue or Prince Charles. And it's very confidential. If you test positive, then I will have a one-on-one with you. HIV is not a death sentence anymore. It's considered a chronic disease, just like diabetes, where you can be on medication and live a good, healthy life. I always tell people as a cancer survivor, if I had a choice between HIV and cancer, I would pick the HIV. Why? I can take a pill and live forever. Whereas with the cancer, when it comes back, I mean, there's a very likelihood that you're going to die from it. So HIV is considered a chronic disease and it's not a death sentence. And a lot of people nowadays, once they're on the medicine, never go on. And I say this, never go on to develop full-blown AIDS. And they go on to lead a healthy, productive life. But we need to lessen the stigma here. We need to be comfortable with discussing HIV. I know whenever I'm in Europe, if I go out and I see people and they're like, oh, my status, I'm positive, I'm on XYZ, my count was undetectable for the last 4 years. They say that and that's it. It's finished and done. You don't look at nobody, no way, no cross eye, no nothing. And I don't know. Yeah.
Remember, we're still in a country where, as parents, we don't even want to have that big S talk with our kids. You talking about HIV? We can't even talk
Yeah.
about sex.
We don't want to do that, right? We don't want to do that. But we buying a tablet for our 5-year-old and pushing them in the corner with no restrictions on the internet. So the first thing they can do is come across porn videos, and then they can think that's normal, and then they can go try it. Then they see the people wearing no condoms, so they can try that. Next thing you know, bam, HIV or some STD.
Boy, Doc, you ain't lie. Somebody just told me about a video of a school child. I have not seen it. Of a school girl assisting a young man, right? In a private school, right? And again, they're watching, they're seeing, they're on those tablets that we deflect from being parents, right? We give them free reign, and these are the things that they're seeing and now experimenting. Now, my Lord, can you imagine? You get called into the school because little Susie is known to be assisting the young man with a happy ending. Hello, in this year time.
Yep. Yep,
My
these
Lord.
children go unchecked and the parents have them and then they can't be bothered to raise them. They want the internet to raise them or the tablet to raise them so they can go out and live their life. If you're not gonna be a parent to a child, don't have one. It's unfair to the child. They didn't have to come here.
This one.
And then they only suffer and become statistics.
All right, this one, ending the show, taking us out of here. Some people is use the last person they slept with for their test. When they see that person post their recent HIV test on their status, they think, oh, okay, she clean, so I clean. My
But that's
Lord.
not. Remember now, if you have sex with an HIV positive person, there's no
Oh,
guarantee you get HIV. Okay? There's no guarantee. There's a 10% chance you may get HIV as well as you may not. It all depends on the amount of virus the person have, what and how much body fluid you come in contact with. There are some errata factors that contributes to you contracting HIV. So just because somebody's test is negative doesn't mean your test will be negative too.
absolutely. Okay.
So go
So
and get tested.
I
Know
was
your
just about
status. Everyone has to know your status. If you're positive, discuss treatment with your doctor. And the treatment nowadays are okay, one tablet a day, minimal side effects. And like I said, you go on to lead a healthy, productive life.
Dr. Fox, thank you as always. We are way over time, but always a good time. All right. Thank you for the wealth of information. Hopefully, we've opened a few eyes and ears this afternoon. And we look forward to seeing you back in the seat real soon. All right.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And thank you, Bahamas. Thank you, Empress, for always having me on your show.
Always, always. They love when you come through. Folks, y'all know what to do. Keep it low. Top of the hour, 5 o'clock. Your drive at 5 comes your way right here on the Star.
It's possible.
So, Dr. Fox need to run for office. Lord, what a time!
Hi.
Pardon me? I'm reading what the people type. I'm reading what the people type. Run for what office, Kevon? What office are you talking about? Are you talking politics? Y'all can see Doc in politics, eh? I don't know. What? Look here, we will campaign for you. Watch here. Lord, what a time, Doc. Come off my life.
Anyways, it's been a pleasure.
All right, see y'all later.
Okay.